Nothing more.
Johnny, how you doing, man?
Hey, is this Mike?
Yes, it is.
Hey, man. I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Great, great. This is going to be for the Loudwire Reloaded weekend show next weekend. I talked to you about a year ago, or right around the time that the first single from the album came out.
Oh, okay. Where did we talk? Hey, you can remind me, since I'm not looking at your face at the moment.
No, just we talked on the phone. It was for Loudwire.
Oh, okay.
So if you're ready, I'm going to roll digital and let's do this thing.
Yeah, ready when you are.
All right. Very special guest on the show this week. It is Jonny Hawkins, the front man for Nothing More. Man, I appreciate you taking time out to call in.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Good to be back and talking with you again.
Heck yeah. It's been, since last year, and just about the time, the first single from your debut album was racing up the charts. It went to number 1. You had success with Mr. MTV, and now you got the new single, Jenny. Congratulations on all the success you guys have been having.
Thanks so much, man. It's been a long road to this year, but it's been well worth it. It's finally all starting to pay off and starting to work, man.
I think you guys were the biggest buzz band of last year because you came out with a sound that I think was really different from, that sets you apart from other rock bands. So I hope that you take that as a compliment.
I most definitely do. Thank you.
Sure. We know you're part of the Loudwire Music Festival. You're performing on June 27th. I know you've done a number of festivals. Do you enjoy doing a festival type situation where you get to see other bands too?
Yeah, that's, the biggest upside of doing the festivals is getting to hang out with some of our buddies who we either have toured with before or just played at festivals with. So I like the social aspect of it, but it's a little bit, they're kind of a little bit more of a pain in the butt compared to touring because there's a little less of, it kind of breaks up the routine you're used to.
Yeah.
And, it's outdoors a lot of times, and it's a little bit harder to sing. So, all those little minor, I guess, setbacks or annoyances, outside of that, it's really a good time, and it's always cool to see that many people in one place. So I'd say all in all, it's some of our favorite shows to play or festivals.
I do want to ask you something about singing and your vocal style. I've never seen you guys actually live and in person, but I've seen live videos of the band performing. And I noticed that sometimes you put 2 fingers on the side of your windpipe. Is that like for extra vibrato?
Yeah, exactly. I basically call it mechanical vibrato, where you can create vibrato using your diaphragm just by moving air back and forth, and that's kind of the way everyone does it. But you can also create it by wiggling your Adam's apple with your fingers. And I've been a drummer my whole life, so I'm very used to manipulating things with my hands. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my way of still using my hands to interface with what I'm doing vocally, since I'm a drummer. So it also it creates a much faster vibrato. It's a different sound that's kind of mixed in there, and sometimes you can't really hear it when you're hearing me sing. But if you stopped and soloed my voice, you could pick out all these little moments, and you go, "Oh, okay, that's what it's doing." It's like you know it, but you don't know that you know it, kind of a thing.
I wanted to ask you another thing about your live performances. That is the Basinator. That thing looks wild. Tell me a little bit about that and how you guys came up with that.
Our bass player, Daniel, started getting into welding, and he started building all these actually it started with my drums up front. Since I was a drummer originally, when I started singing, I didn't want to totally get rid of my ability to hit stuff.
Right.
I feel like my soul was lost. So I took some drums with me to the front, and I told Daniel, I was like, "Hey, man, since you're starting to weld things, what do you think about making a stand for my drums so that I can jump up on them and not have to worry about them falling over?" And so he ended up creating this huge thing that we now call Drumtron, which is this tetanus-ridden multi-pointed death trap that we load in and out of the trailer every day. But basically, that evolved into other items on stage, and one of them was the Basinator, which is just kind of our little pet name for it. But we'd always done this bass solo for years, like playing in bars and just all these little crappy shows all around. We would just do this bass solo. We all ended up on the bass, and we had a very rickety stand that we had built out of a speaker stand and a piece of wood. It was the most ugly, cheap, duct taped together thing you've ever seen. Yeah. And when Dan started welding, he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna make something that's actually legit." So he made this big metal piece and made it to where it could lock into Drumtron up front and spin around. And he used some bearings, I believe, or some I don't know what the correct terminology is. I think it's some parts from his motorcycle, because he loves to bike, and so he had some spare parts and he integrated them into this design, and that's why the thing spins around and does what it does.
We're talking to Jonny Hawkins of the band Nothing More. He's the front man. And just got one more question for you. I have caught up with the backstory of your latest single, Jenny, on Loudwire.com and watched the video. But for those who may not know the inspiration for the song, could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, totally. Well, the song was written out of a time where I was dealing with kind of two tragedies simultaneously, one of which was my mom was having a long battle with cancer, and she was in her last year of life, really going downhill quick. And my sister, at the same time, was fighting her own demons with mental health issues that we weren't really aware of, and I don't think she was either. Mm-hmm. But she started self-soothing and self-medicating by, getting into really heavy drug culture. So she started doing meth and cocaine and ecstasy and combinations of all of that, and drinking heavily and, just going down that path. So it was, especially after my mom died, my mom stuck around a lot longer than she was supposed to. And it was really because she was seeing how rough of a place my sister was in. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing was that my aunt, my mom's sister, was named Jenny. And she named my sister Jenna after my aunt. And I think it was like kind of a stab at redemption, because my aunt actually lost her mind in college and was very heavy schizophrenic and has pretty much been mentally gone for 30 years now. And so my sister Jenna was the first girl that she had. Anyway, long story short, she named him after her sister, or she named my sister after her sister, which is my aunt, and hence the song title, Jenny. And I was afraid of my sister turning into my aunt and starting to just go off the deep end and totally get lost in all this, this mental world where she couldn't stay grounded to reality. And so it's still a battle today. It's not a story that has an ending yet. It's really an ongoing struggle. And but it actually, like most struggles in life, it really opens your eyes to people around you who are going through something very similar, and also the, collective ignorance as a culture surrounding the thing that, you're dealing with every day that maybe other people don't quite fully understand and maybe pass judgment on because they haven't had to grapple with it, like on a first person basis. So what we're doing with this song is doing a big mental health awareness campaign called #IKnowJenny, and we're getting people to share their stories of people who either were a Jenny and they went down that path, or still going down that path and trying to find help, or people who knew a Jenny, who have someone in their life just like I have my sister in my life that is a very, very difficult thing to manage and deal with, and it's just kind of a living train wreck at the moment. So anyway, that's the first step, I think, in trying to make this all a better situation. And that's kind of what the song's about, and that's what we're doing with it currently.
Well, we certainly encourage people to watch the video for Jenny at loudwire.com. And you were also interviewed for the piece there as well, so people can, also read a little bit more and learn how to, support the causes that you guys are working towards too as well. I think we should play the song.
That sounds like a good idea.
Jonny Hawkins from Nothing More, thank you so much for being on the show. Here is the latest from Nothing More. It's Jenny. It's number 8 on the Loudwire Lucky 13.